Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on this Tuesday morning. WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, Inforum.com. We are in the full swing of things. We got North Dakota high school football practice going. Minnesota began yesterday. We visited with Kevin Feeney here in studio. Also customary for our next guest, we do this each and every year to chat out in Barnesville, where the Trojans are expected, of course, to be good off a state runner-up finish last year. Once again at U.S. Bank Stadium, they've become, it's like their second home is U.S. Bank Stadium. Longtime head coach of the Trojans, Bryan Strand, friend of the show, joins us right off the practice field on this Tuesday morning. Great to see you. How did practice number 2 go?
Went well. You know, it was actually, the weather was cooler than it was yesterday, so that was kind of nice. And this morning was just a special teams practice, so it was a real short, brief time. So, and then we'll go tonight again.
Oh, you do, God, 2 days, huh? We're still doing that? I like that.
Well, you can do it every other day as long as it's a no padded, no anything type practice in the morning. So
tell me, yesterday, getting ready to start, what are the emotions? You still get the butterflies, nerves, excitement? What were the emotions yesterday before practice number 1?
You know, it's just different the whole time. We had camp at the end of July, and you know, we lost one of our coaches at the end of May, Nate Strand,
Yeah.
and he did a lot for us. So it was a lot of emotions, a lot of different things going on. You know, it's a brand new bunch of kids, so you know, it's getting to know them. It's getting, you know, trying to figure out what we're going to be good at. I always tell everyone we're going to shotgun spread this year, so they better get ready and prepare for that. We're going to zing it more times than ever before. But no, the group we've got is a real strong group. I think that we've got the team to beat again in our section anyways. I think we'll be right there competing with Hawley. Park Rapids should be good. Pelican graduate a lot, but Eli does a fantastic job over there, so I imagine they will just bring them all back again, you know, so they're always tough.
Let me tell you something here. Feeney's throwing it 30 times a game. If you start throwing it 30 times a game, I'm done. I'm out of here. If I start seeing your offense do that, I'm quitting.
That probably won't happen as long as I'm.
You mentioned the photo over your left shoulder there of your nephew.
Cousin.
Your cousin, sorry, excuse me. Just tell me how odd it is. How different does it feel, even now in the early stages of camp, him not being there?
You know, we've got, you know, Phil Trowbridge, myself, and Nate have been together.
Yeah.
This is my 20th year coaching. Nate coached with me for 15 of those years. He came in the season of 2010, so 14 seasons. You know, he was one of my best friends, and it's just, we did everything together. We went to coaching clinics. We did a lot of stuff. And, you know, when you get a hole like that, and I know other staffs go through it, it just, you know, we've got 4 paid coaches. We've got 5 volunteers, and our volunteer coaches are absolutely outstanding. So, I mean, we all do our own thing. We trust each other, you know, so it just leaves a hole. It just kind of, you know, the emotion part of it, you know, his son had been a manager from 1st grade to 6th grade last year, and now he starts football this year. So he won't be around. And it's just, you know, it's just like anything else. It's change. I'm not a real good person on change. You know, hence why we run the ball as much as we do. We find things that work for us.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's one of those things. It's different. It'll never be the same. It's just different.
To see the outpouring, I think you knew it, but the amount of people that he connected with, he touched, how much did that mean to you to see that after he passed?
I mean, just seeing everyone that came to funeral and the wake and the area coaches that came in, you know, Holly was there, and, you know, Pelican guys, and it's just, you know, you build that friendship type deal going over the years, and, you know, it's special. And it's just, you know, it went so fast. I mean, he found out March 5th, and he was gone about the 21st of May. I mean, it was just quick. So, you know, it's like I said, it'll never be the same. It'll be different. We got to find, you know, we're going to do different things to honor him throughout the year. We're going to wear stickers on the helmets, and we're going to probably do our tackle cancer night is against Pelican Rapids this year. They lost a coach last year to battle with cancer. And now, you know, obviously with Nate, to figure that's a good time, and we'll probably do something before the game to talk about him and honor him and things like that. And it's just, and it always affects the kids. It just,
Right.
he coached baseball as well, and he was around, and it's tough to say. It's just
No
it's
doubt.
different, and you got a hole. So
I know how much family means to you. 2 of your sons are on your staff now for
yeah.
2024. Tell us about
And my
that.
son's a freshman, so yeah, he'll be there too. And Michael's been helping now. I want to say
Right.
this is at least his third year that he'll be
That's
on the
crazy.
sideline, and him and Adam bring such a high dynamics as far as things. One of the best stories is we're walking off the field, and Michael and Adam are complaining because one of our backs didn't see something correctly, and are just feeling. Nate just steps in. Would you two just shut up? You two have vision that nobody else has had, and you're complaining that someone else didn't see this 3-lane cutback that you were supposed to make. Just shut up, And but no, he brings a ton. Robbie actually moved back home for a little bit last winter because he's finishing his business degree through Valley City,
Nice.
business ed degree, third generation business ed teacher.
That's
So
fantastic.
he's actually the JV basketball coach for DGF. So I said, well, if you're going to continue to live here, you're going to earn your keep, and you're going to coach against those guys for one time. But Robbie was a fantastic quarterback.
Yes.
For led us to a state runner-up in 2010.
Oh man.
Uh,
You know how old
and
I am? 2010? Good Lord. I can't. Holy cow. I remember that vividly.
and he's a great coach. So I just said, the last time you're probably going to have a chance to coach with me and Michael and coach your brother.
That's awesome.
You don't have a choice here. So everyone in DGF land, he doesn't have a choice to coach against you. That's his yearly rent fee for me. So, and again, I just think he's such a great coach. He works well with kids. He relates to kids. So he's going to help on
That's
the quarterback.
awesome.
Is Adam. So
That's fantastic.
I learned a little bit.
You got to be over the moon on that to have them all together. This will never happen again, right?
Right. It happened. The last time it happened actually was when Nate had to take a year break because he was having surgery, which led up to his cancer. Actually, it ended up, but Robbie came in and filled in for that year and did a fantastic job. And so, yeah,
man, that's just awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. High expectations always off of what happened last year. Tell me on this year's team. I know it's different. You were already alluding to that. The expectations don't change. How do you even have to address that with the team before it starts? I was going to ask, do you even mention that?
We set our kids down because we've got a younger group that probably hasn't been as involved in the weight room as they need to be. I always say our weight room is the one thing that I think separates teams. Our kids really buy into it. I mean, we had 4 kids that went over 300 pounds on the bench press yesterday.
Man.
We had probably another 15 to 18 kids that went over 200. So I mean, I think that's the one thing that kind of separates teams because they're so invested in it. We got some younger kids right now that have not bought into it as much as they probably should have. We just talked to them about it. I said, I mean, the tradition is it's tough to build, but it can fall pretty dang quick unless you guys get your butts in gear. And I said, everyone's there to help you, but you have to put the work in if you expect to be good.
Yeah.
And I think any good program has that staple. Caledonia, I mean, they're crazy. I mean, they just the way they lift and get after it. I mean, but that's their expectation.
Yeah.
And the time that you lower expectations is when things start to slide, and we don't want things to slide.
How do you feel now handling it when you guys come in, when either you're hosting a team or you go somewhere, you guys are the big bad bull. Everybody knows Barnesville's really good. How do you handle that over the years? Expectation wise, that's changed where you guys were the up and comers. Now you're long time established. How is that? When you're talking to guys and getting ready for a game, like, hey, everybody would love to beat us. How do you handle that now?
You say that. I mean, you just say that you're the game that everyone circles and they want. And, for us, it was Holly for years.
Yeah.
And it still is. I still find that game against Peter one of the most competitive things because, the respect is there for him and his staff, and they do things the right way. They work hard. He's positive. I mean, I had a chance last summer. Nate and I went over to the Easton Sick Camp and worked it. And to watch Peter in action, and how he handles things and how he goes about the business. It's very easy to see why that they win a lot. So to me, it's always Holly. We have Holly week, and regardless of how good either team is, I mean, we're going to treat that as it's the section title game, and Park Rapids is a little bit like that. Pelican has definitely been there.
Yep.
And we treat every week about the same. We kind of go about our business. We watch the film, we do things, and we make sure our kids don't ever overlook, no matter who we're playing. I think our coaches do a good job. I think the kids do a good job. We are focused on that team throughout the weekend. It doesn't matter if they're coming in 0-8 or whatever else. It can happen. You can lose.
All right, so now you're going to get mad at me because I'm going to ask you a question about the state tournament that's overlooking because you're getting already there. But the change has gone in now for seeding on that, and it's going to north-south for this upcoming year for the quarterfinal round. So it's no longer, you already predetermined section versus section. So how big a deal is I've been clamoring for this for years. What do you think of this now going into effect for this fall?
I see positives. I still think that it's virtually impossible. Barnesville could have the weakest schedule in the world and be 8-0, but really good. But how does anybody else know about how good the teams are that we're playing?
Yep.
Moose Lake is always in it. The state champs have been in it for a few years now. Osakis has been dominant for a while, but it's hard to judge. I mean, you don't want to run the score, things like that, but it's like, well, you got to show your dominance on teams. So you don't want teams to score, you don't want teams to score. You don't want to be giving up points because in the end, they're going to judge you. And it's a big difference between if you're the 1 seed or the 3 seed or the, wherever you fit.
Correct.
And then they're going to redo it again when we go down to
U.S. Bank, right?
U.S. Bank.
Yeah.
They're going to redo. So, I mean, you don't really know, but I mean, if I know that I'm going to match up with Section 7, I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to find online film on Moose Lake, and we're going to have them broke down before we get to that game, with the expectation that we're going to play them.
Yeah.
Now it's different. You're going to find out on basically on Saturday morning who you're playing, and now exchange film. That's going to be a busy weekend if we were to get there. I mean, that's a big if. There are very good teams around too.
It's a step in the right direction. They just got to take the next one, in my opinion. Right? To go 1 through 8. I just rip the Band-Aid off and do that. Like that's what everyone else needed.
Again, that's virtually so hard because of the field availability. And again, football, there's such a small window of games that you're looking at. And then you got to figure out who was good on someone's schedule. How did they do against that good team? Was somebody hurt? That's vital. We don't have 25 games to judge on. We've got 10, maybe 11 games if they played a full section. So, I mean, there's never going to be a perfect fit. Yes, 1 through 8 would be perfect, but it's like anything else.
Yeah.
It's the seeding part of it.
It's great to see you as always. I really appreciate you sharing the story on Nate. And a heads up, we will be televising the Barnesville DGF game. Will be on WDAY Extra coming up to start the season. So I always appreciate the fact you always schedule those kind of teams, and people around the area love to see it. So good to see you, my man. Good luck this year. We'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, take care.
Bryan Strand, head coach of the Barnesville Trojans, last year's state runners-up in AA football, and they will be awfully good again. And our Game of the Week series will begin actually this week. We're starting on Friday night with soccer to get you started, and then every Friday after that, we'll have a high school football game, sometimes up to 3 in one particular Friday. August 30th, the first weekend of Minnesota high school football, will bring you Barnesville DGF from Glendon, which will be a dynamite football game. There's a tease for our first soccer game coming up on Friday between West Fargo and Cheyenne. We'll be bringing you soccer, volleyball this fall. It's not just football. We're going to have a few other sports happening on Extra throughout the fall months, part of a huge year of high school sports we got on tap. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up, answer our poll question, and get you ready for a busy Sporting Tuesday. Hot Mike wraps right after this.